Almost feel like Ralph Bailey. Man, you guys know how to take care of people around here. Can I get a bowl of green peanut M&Ms while you're in here too, Christopher? Thank you. Welcome to the broadcast.
Don't turn into Scott Cox, please.
I'm kidding. It's Friday. We're going to try to have a little bit of fun. You can check us out now. We're streaming live on YouTube. Just go to YouTube and look up a Kern Radio. You can also find us on social media, Instagram, X, and Facebook. Just look up Kern Radio. I am also out there. JR Flores, or why not JR? We got a great show for you lined up today. Got more audio from the meeting the other day during the city council. A little back and forth between our guest yesterday, City Councilman Zach Bashir-Tash, and Emilio Huerta. If that name sounds familiar, because it is, and we'll tie all the pieces together for you in just a little bit. What else do we got going on? A lot of local news, more news out of the Genesis Mata case. I'll get you caught up on that. A lot of other little local stories, and I'll finally try to get to redistricting in California, as I believe there was a hearing today on whether or not to move forward on that. All of that, plus your text messages, phone calls, emails, always welcome. 661-842-5376, 661-842-KERN. You can drop me an email, jr@kernradio.com. You can reach me through all of my social medias. You can also jump in the YouTube chat. Somebody just said smile. Smile more. What? You can also drop a line in the YouTube chat as well. But like I said, news out of the Genesis Mata case, the young 8-year-old allegedly, we have to say, killed by her father and stepmother at a local hotel a couple weeks ago. That shouldn't even be in business, in my opinion. But apparently now, Griselda Bustamante, the stepmother of young Genesis, was assaulted back on August 8th by another woman in custody and transported to a hospital for treatment, officials said. She was later returned to jail. Charges are pending against the suspect, Anita Duran, officials said. Bustamante and Ray Mata, Genesis's father, are both accused of, we won't go over the details of what happened that evening again. We all are well aware of them. There's two parts of me that want to opine on this. Because see, what you have to understand with me is I found it is a What the Faith Friday. I found Jesus about really hard about 5 years ago. And so I tell people all the time, I got Jesus, but I got just enough Southside. Just enough Southside. It's that, what is it? Pray with me, don't play with me mentality. And so the don't play with me part of me, the Southside part of me says, you got what you deserved. It's at least where I grew up, it's known. There's even a code within gangsters and criminals. You don't mess with kids, you don't mess with women. Period, end of story. And if you do, you get dealt with. Plain and simple. Griselda Bustamante got dealt with in the way that things get handled with in the streets. So Southside JR says, Yup. Not only that, but this Anita Duran, the woman accused allegedly of assaulting Griselda Bustamante. Somebody wrote me an email that that people are starting to put money on her books, that they're starting to buy, I shouldn't laugh, the woman Mills, and putting money on her books in jail. So much so that another report on social media said that her books are they've shut it down. They've turned it off. They said, you guys we're not endorsing this. Don't put money on her books anymore. You're only encouraging this. To which again, Southside JR says, well, But then I remember the God side of me that says, no, that's not the way we deal with things. There's a justice system and we let them play out. But then I go back to Southside Chair and I'm like, you got what was coming to you. Not only that, you were lucky when they called the medical team in and took you to a hospital, because your sorry excuse for a human being left an 8-year-old in a bathtub to die. So the fact that the authorities even came in and called medical attention to you, you should be grateful and thanking God for that. I'm sorry, I'll calm down just a second. It is a What the Faith Friday. I get it. I'll go back to the Jesus side. I got to get Southside JR a little out. You got to work through these things. God understands. He gets me. So yeah, Miss Griselia Bustamante. I'm surprised that she wasn't in PC. I wouldn't doubt it if Dad's in PC, protective custody. It's usually where they put the people that mess with kids or women, because they know that other inmates don't play. They don't play like that. Nope. So maybe when she goes back in, she'll be moved into protective custody if God is so gracious to her. This all while the head of the Kern County Department of Human Services is proposing an external review of the county's child welfare services. The proposal was made by Lito Morello, the director of the department, and will be presented to the Board of Supervisors at the meeting on Tuesday. During that same supervisors meeting, they're supposed to have a litany of people, citizens, angry, rightfully so, at Child Protective Services here in the county of Kern, because it's not the first time, unfortunately. There'll be several families that have been affected over the years that claim that they too have reported many instances of child abuse within their own family, at which nothing was done. And so now what they'll do is they'll go before the Board of Supervisors and they will ask for an external review of the county's child welfare services. The department director, they've contracted with an organization back in 2006 to conduct an external review, just not even 20 years ago, and develop a plan to improve service delivery. If approved, the latest proposal would allow the Department of Human Services to seek a contract with the organization again to reevaluate their current strategies that they just put into place not even 2 decades ago. The board is expected to approve the proposal at the meeting on Tuesday. While that is happening, a woman is being charged with murder in the death of her 3-year-old foster son. That's scheduled for trial next month on September 29th. 33-year-old Marguerite Eckhorst, who's also charged with assaulting a child under 8, resulting in death, faces a life term in prison. The boy had bruises and cuts to his face and body. According to court documents, he was pronounced dead at the scene. An autopsy revealed he had blunt force trauma to his head, internal injuries, and bleeding in his chest. A wrongful death lawsuit has been filed against the county by Alejandro's biological mother. The suit alleges social workers knew and withheld information about Eckhorst's mental health issues and troubled childhood. And we're going to see more of those, especially if they go through with this independent review and what comes out on the other side. I'm scared that we might see more cases as well. We'll get to a break. I'll tell you some more local stories as we look over some court cases. BPD is going to hold, or CHP is holding a DUI checkpoint over the weekend. Another road is being closed. Oh yeah, this one slipped past me at the city council meeting the other day. I'll tell you what, the city's spending $700,000 next at the new Dignity Health Arena. Plus, I got some other audio from that meeting as well. A little back and forth between yesterday's guest. And if you missed that interview yesterday with City Councilman Zach Bashir-Tash, you can go to YouTube. It's all living right there, all past episodes. Just go to youtube.com or open YouTube on your app, on your smart device, right there on your TV at home. Search up Kern Radio. Subscribe to the channel. We're trying to make it to 10,000. We're like a 5% of the way there. Help us out. Tell your friends. But if you want to, you can check out past episodes like yesterday's interview with City Councilman Zach Bashir-Tash. We'll hear some of that audio, a little back and forth with Emilio Huerta. We'll tell you who that is as well. Stay tuned. It's the JR Show. It's Kern Radio. We'll be right back.
News Talk 96.1 and AM 1180 KERN. The Ralph Bailey Show, weekdays from 3 till 6 p.m.
I'm telling you, this could be a fork in the road for the National League Division title, West at least. We got 6 games with the Padres over the next 12, 13 days.
What'd I do,
this
Chris?
is a
What did I
bullpen
do?
that has been ravaged. I mean, hours. If some of the super
of heaven always surround when I start remembering how you carry my cross. You call me by name, love me like I was, but you didn't leave me that way. Was there, now I live. Yeah, that's what you did. You've been
So good to me.
You've been so good to me.
Welcome back to What the Faith Friday, right here on the JR Show. Young Dawson running the board. Dawson, you're in control of whatever music comes on next, all right? It just has to be a worship song, all right? Young Dawson, the newest member to the Kern Radio team, filling in or training on the board. And you guys will get to know Dawson as we move along. Dawson, just pull the microphone in front of you a little bit. See how that works right there. Yep, you can introduce yourself. Say hi to the fans, Dawson.
How's it going?
How's it going? He's got a radio voice. Listen to that. Wow, Dawson. Wow. So tell the folks about yourself. How old are you?
My name is Dawson Pitcher. I'm 26 as of now. And what else you want to know?
Did you grow up in Bakersfield? Where'd you grow up? Where are you from?
Yeah, I grew up, born in Bakersfield, spent most of my life here, went to school in San Diego, and came back.
And now you're back here. That always happens. You always, just when you think you're out, Dawson, they pull you right back in. But we'll get Dawson's feet wet just a little bit and then throw him right into the deep end. So keep tuning in. You guys will get to know young Dawson. Thank you, Dawson, and welcome to the team. Do we have any text messages, sir? 661-842-5376, 661-842-KERN if you guys want to chime in at any time. Do you have anything on this Friday, sir?
Yeah, I would like to know who the judges were that dismissed all the very real serious charges. Maybe should make all similar dismissed charges public.
What case? I wonder what case they're talking about. Nobody's had any charges dismissed in the Mata case. I'm not sure what case they're referring to, but I agree in a lot of cases. I was about to tell you guys about a man who pleaded no contest to sexual battery on attack of a woman who was exercising up on the Northeast. He was sentenced to 4 years in prison yesterday. Anton Kelly Hill will also have to register as a sex offender. He was arrested February 9th, 2023. So you got to figure that was over 2 years ago. Hell, he might not even do any more time. My boy might have just walked out of court on suspicion of attacking a woman and attempting to rape her as she exercised on Panorama Drive near morning. He fled, but witnesses followed him. Lucky he didn't get his ass kicked because remember, two sides of JR. Southside JR, Jesus. Got Jesus, just enough Southside. Southside JR would have tracked him down. Gave him an ass whooping. He was 24 at the time, which is important because in California, if you're 25 and under, there's a whole different line of how you get sentenced. He pleaded no contest to the sexual battery, and charge of assault with the intent to commit rape was, like the texter said, dismissed. Not, there's more to the story. While he was out on bail for this case, he got arrested again. Gets arrested in February, gets out on bail. In June, he's caught on surveillance tape in a pool house watching people in the pool. And I hope your kids are in school right now, but he was masturbating, watching people in the pool. He was charged with the misdemeanor. That too was dropped. Well, thank you, District Attorney's Office. I'm glad you're working so hard to keep people safe that this kid now is sentenced to 4 years in prison, 2 years after this whole thing went down, which means he's probably not going to see a day in jail. Meanwhile, the victim, this woman who was attacked, sexually assaulted, will live with that for the rest of her life. The rest of her life. She, in 4 years or in 2 years from now, because that was 2 years ago. So we're going 4 years for young Anton Kelly Hill. In 2 years, when his sentence is complete, this young woman will still be dealing with the trauma. Every time she goes out, I bet you she doesn't exercise on the bluffs anymore. Meanwhile, Anton Kelly Hill will just be able to walk out of jail. Charges dismissed. Some of the most serious charges dismissed because, well, I'll plead down. I once thought that we hired a district attorney that was tough on crime in this community. I once had faith in a district attorney's office in a county that was what I would have considered badass in taking on criminals. I don't feel that way anymore. I do not feel that way anymore. Any other text messages before we got to get to the bottom of the hour of the news? That's all we got. Let me see. Do we have anything in the chat there for the YouTubes? I spent 10 years in this county in EMS. What caused me to quit was 4 calls back to back with abuse children. Yeah, I couldn't deal with it. It was hard enough for me just to talk about the story of Genesis Mata, who is 8 years old. Same age as my daughter. And I am not going to go over because I can't. This guy, nope. There's EMT school right here in the same parking lot as ours. I drive by those kids and I don't understand how they could do it, because the first time, the blood doesn't bother me, broken bones, that stuff, I'm cool, unless it's a kid. And especially if it's somebody doing abuse or harming that kid. Because like I said, 2 sides of JR. Jesus, just enough Southside. Pray with me, don't play with me. Ain't that right, Dawson? Dawson knows. I don't know if he's got Southside, but Dawson be knowing. I'm just messing with you, Dawson. Oh, goodness gracious. We'll get out of here. It's a What the Faith Friday. Tell you more on the other side. We got some audio from the city council meeting Wednesday night where they approved the $300,000 for the Dolores Huerta Foundation. We'll play some of that after the news. Little back and forth between what our guest yesterday alluded to, City Councilman Zach Bashirtash, asked Mr. Huerta, Emilio, the son of Dolores, and one-time wannabe congressman, and I guess he's now counseled to the Dolores Huerta Foundation, and I'm sure he gets paid handsomely for that. Not only that, he's the project manager on this project. We'll tie all the loose strings together. Don't worry. And while all that was going on, I totally missed it. Totally missed it. $700,000 just snuck by my nose just like that. We'll tell you what they're upgrading now at the Dignity Health Arena. Stay tuned. You don't want to miss it. It's the JR Show. It's Curtin Radio. We'll be right back.
With us for the news, I'm Keith Peters in Washington. President Trump and Russian President Vladimir Putin have begun face-to-face talks in Alaska for a high-stakes summit that could determine
darkness into your glorious day. You called my name, and I ran out of that grave, out of the darkness into your glorious day.
Welcome back. Did you pick that song, Dawson? Was that all you see? Look at that. Look at Dawson. Knows what he's doing in there already. We'll get you in no time, kid. You'll be flying just all by yourself. And you'll crashes into something and it'll be all good. It'll be all good. Welcome back to the JR Show. This is your host, JR Flores. It's Kern Radio. Check us out online, kernradio.com. Also streaming live on YouTube. Just open the app on your phone right there. Click YouTube, search Kern Radio, hit the subscribe button, hit the notification bell, and every time we go live, you will be notified. Me, Ralph Bailey, every single day right there in color. You can drop chats in the chat box there. I'll turn around and read them from time to time. You can also text or email me, 661-842-5376. Email jr@kernradio.com or call in at any time, 661-842-KERN. You said we have a phone call, sir. Who do you have?
Got Pastor David Vivas.
Pastor David Vivas? Does it get that right, sir?
You sure did, JR. Thank you for taking my call.
Anytime, especially on a What the Faith Friday, Pastor. Are you kidding me? You're always welcome.
Hey, appreciate that. Yeah, I'm a good friend of Pastor Angelo Frazier as well.
I'm sorry. No, I'm just kidding. We all love Pastor Angelo Frazier. He's been a guest many times on the show.
Yes, absolutely. I'm from Delano. I've been pastoring for 25 years. Actually, this year is going to be 25 years. And I'm also an advocate for victims of crime. My own son was shot and killed about 5.5 years ago, and his case is still unsolved. And so, but I've been an outspoken.
I'm sorry to hear that, sir.
Yeah, thank you. And I speak out for those who cannot speak for themselves. And Delano is a wonderful community. We haven't had a shooting in about 2 years now. Since July of 2023,
wow.
We have not had a shooting.
Knock on wood for that, Pastor.
Yes. And I attribute that to the great Delano Police Department. But what I wanted to comment, I've heard you a few times address this topic of Little Genesis, and I am with you. I was teaching a Bible study last night, and I was relating the story to those that were in attendance, and I could not complete the story that I knew that I'd written about. And there's something about when it comes to harming a little child. I'm a pastor, but it's just really hard to just forgive that person. I know we've got to forgive. I understand that. I teach that as followers of Christ, but I get it when it comes to little children. What I'm also I watched the recent news broadcast update about the biological mother, and just learning a little bit more about where the parents were at, and then what her boyfriend did to her son.
Mm-hmm.
And he's serving time, but he's going to be released. At least they're going to be looking at releasing him next December 2026, next year. And I am appalled by the lack of time these individuals serve. And I really just know that our laws are so lenient here in California. The consequences, just a slap in the hand. But here's I want to just bring this up. People continue to say, getting back to Little Genesis, that the stepmother, Graciela, they called her the stepmother, but her last name is Bustamante.
Right.
So that tells me they're not married.
They weren't married. Yeah, that's the way I would assume it.
Yeah, they're shacking up. They're not married. And so what makes her a stepmother? You think about the evil stepmother in the stories.
Yeah, and all the Disney stories, right? All the fairy tales.
Exactly,
the evil stepmother.
Yeah. But this one right here obviously is the epitome of evil. And anyway, again, just thinking about what that little girl went through, it really pains my heart. And I get you, but I just really wish the news, the social media would quit calling her a stepmother, because she was no mother. The title mother she's not even worthy.
She's not.
of it.
Yeah, she's not worthy of holding that title. She was.
and-
She was
or-
no kind of a mother, not a stepmother, a real mother. She was in no way, shape, or form performing any motherly duties.
Precisely, and of course the man, the biological, again, same thing. He's not worthy of that title of father, and it's very sad that we live in times like this where parents should be the protectors of their children. And JR, this is something that I teach very strongly. I know a lot of people may disagree, but whenever a divorce occurs or mom and dad just can't seem to resolve their differences and have to separate, that is not the time for them to chase after the new boyfriend and girlfriend. They need to give
Amen.
unconditional love to their children. I mean, because their children already are going through a time of rejection. They're being traumatized. They feel
Their whole world has
unloved.
changed. Their whole world has
Yeah.
been turned upside down, Pastor. I went through and experienced it 5 years ago, and I barely started dating within the last year because the one thing I did, I stopped. I took stock of everything that I was doing, everything that was going on in my life. I went to therapy. I chased after Jesus in a way that I had never chased after him before, and my other focus was my daughter. Every single moment that I had was focused on making sure that she had exactly what she needed to still feel or at least thrive in her environment.
Yes, and I totally get it. People want to remarry if they've gone through a painful divorce or whatever. I get it, but when the children are still little, come on, focus attention, like you just said, focus attention on that child because they need that unconditional love from a parent. And I don't because I counsel with a lot of people. I also counsel with a lot of gang members in and around Delano.
Mhm.
And I would say at least the majority, 9 out of 10, were raised in a home where the father was never present.
Yeah, he
And,
was probably in and out of jail or something, you know what I mean? And the ones that were present probably weren't the best examples. Let's just be honest.
Exactly. No, you're right. You're right. And we just need to return to those old fashioned values and give these kids the unconditional love and support that they need. Because if we want to see them succeed in the future and be outstanding citizens, then the role model has got to start in the home. But but anyway, getting back to this story, and now I'm going to conclude with these remarks. I know I wasn't aware there was a grand jury report on CPS. I just learned all of this because again, I try to stay connected as much as possible, but I apparently overlooked that one.
Yeah, I
So
think it was completed in April, if I'm not mistaken.
Yes, yes. And so I'm interested to hear what the County Board of Supervisors have to say and how they are going to address that issue, because if they are short staffed down there at CPS, then something really needs to be done. They need to reprioritize, do something, because these children need all the protection that they can that they deserve.
Yeah, I mean, just like the city where we have Measure N, they had Measure K, and a part of that was we're gonna take care of the vital services. That's what we need this for. And in my opinion, Child Protective Services, one of the most vital services that we can have in the county.
Yes, and so anyway, I know that investigators, everyone is going to be looking at this case very, very closely because it's gotten quite a bit of attention, and unfortunately, there's probably a whole lot of other children who have suffered because of neglect or short staff, whatever the case is, and but I'm really hoping that they will fix that. But
Yeah, I hope they take it as serious as the rest of us are upset about it. Well, I have you on the line, Pastor. Can I ask you about forgiveness? I know we had talked about it a little bit in the beginning. That's the part I think that I struggle with the most. In a case like this, you mentioned trying to forgive because I grew up in the South Side, And
Mhm.
while I'm not affiliated with a gang, I was asked to get jumped into a gang when I was in 6th grade. I know the streets very well. I could have
Yeah.
very easily fallen into that lifestyle. So when I tell people that I got Jesus, but I got just enough Southside, how do I stay out of that? How do I stay out of wanting, when I hear about the Miss Bustamante being attacked in prison, and I have to remind my heart, hey, that's not how we react. And we're not supposed to find, joy in this person, or even say she got what she deserved, right?
Yeah. Well, I think that's just a natural human reaction. We want justice. We want that person to suffer, if not more suffering, for the suffering they've caused on an innocent child. But in this case, in the situation like this, and I went through this when I don't know who killed my son 5.5 years ago. To this day, I still don't know.
Wow.
And I write articles. I would write articles weekly for the local paper, the Bakersfield paper, etc. And I remember the second or third week after my son's death, I wrote an article called "Forgiving the Shooter." And as I was typing that, I stopped in the middle of that article, and I said this candidly. I don't even believe a word I'm saying right now.
Yeah. Do you
I was
even
talking about
forgive him?
forgiveness.
Like, as you're writing
Yeah.
it, you had to ask yourself, do I forgive this person?
Yes.
And how
yes.
do you
And
forgive somebody that you don't even know?
yeah, exactly. Well, when Jesus was on the cross, he said, "Father, forgive them; they don't know what they
They
are
do.
doing."
Yeah.
And so what I've learned to do is I've learned to forgive people by faith. My feelings and emotions may not always want to forgive someone, but we have to do it by faith. And that's the way we experience freedom, and we begin to heal in our heart. And that's the reason why the Lord taught us to forgive us our trespasses as we forgive those who trespass against us. Forgiveness is for our benefit, not necessarily the person who violated us or hurt us, but it's for our benefit so that we can start to heal emotionally, mentally, and so forth. Because if we don't forgive, then we can hold grudges and bitterness and then hatred, and those negative emotions could also impact us negatively in our physical bodies. So the Lord knew exactly what he was talking about when he commanded us to forgive. It wasn't a suggestion. And so we forgive by faith. I know one day that I may be sitting in that courtroom if they ever arrest the individual who is guilty of murdering my son. And I will have to sit there and listen to back and forth, the defense and the prosecutor. And I will look at the individual that took my son's life, and I'm going to have to just look at him and tell him, you know what? I forgive you by faith.
Yeah.
I forgive you.
Wow.
I don't agree with what you did, but I forgive you by faith. Because if I want my Heavenly Father to forgive me of the sins and the violations that I've done, then I've got to forgive people from my heart by faith. And I have to say it by faith because my feelings and emotions won't always align with that. But if I do it by faith, faith is what pleases God.
Yeah, even for the toughest of cases, we have to forgive, right? I mean, even the hardest ones like this one, and
Yeah.
in your case, yours, you have to.
Yes. Yeah. If I want God to forgive me, and if we don't forgive, then that hinders our prayers. Matter of fact, Jesus said, "If you don't forgive, neither will your Father in heaven forgive you." And that's a serious statement right there in Mark chapter 11, verse number 25, 26, thereabouts. So that's why when our emotions and our feelings don't feel like it, especially when it comes to the death of an innocent little child, yeah, we have to forgive by faith. And that's a hard pill to swallow. That's easier said than done. And I'm a pastor, been pastoring for over 25 years and been preaching longer than that. But I've got to practice what I preach.
Amen to that. Well, thanks for calling in, Pastor. Hey, do me a favor, leave your information with Dawson, my producer there, so I can reach out for you. I'd love to have you on another Friday where we can talk about a assortment of things when it comes to faith. Like I said, it's every Friday's What the Faith Friday, so I would love to get in contact with you.
I will leave him my contact information.
And where's services at on Sunday? Go ahead.
World Harvest International Church in Delano. We are at 925 Jefferson Street, and services are at 10 o'clock a.m.
10 a.m. in Delano, right?
Yes.
All righty, sir. Well, thank you so much again. Leave your number and I'll get in touch with you. We'll bring you back here for What the Faith Friday. Thank you so much for calling in, Pastor.
Appreciate that. Thank you.
Thank you. Thank you. Let's get to a break. Dawson will get the information. I'll take more of your phone calls and text messages. 661-842-5376. 661-842-KERN. I'll try to get to the audio from the meeting the other day, a little back and forth between Councilman Zach Bashir Tash and the project manager for the Dolores Huerta Foundation, Emilio Huerta. Yeah, the son of Dolores is also the counsel for her foundation and also the project manager for the Peace and Justice Center. He was also a candidate at one time years ago for Congress against David Valadao. Yeah, they got money. We'll tie all the strings together. Plus, you can go check it out on our social media. Just look up Kern Radio or Why Not JR. It's all right there for you to see. We'll be back on the other side. It's the JR Show. It's Kern Radio. We'll be right back.
News Talk 96.1 and AM 1180 KERN.
By Monday's Armstrong and Getty show, of course, we'll have a lot of info about the Trump-Putin summit and all of the ramifications from that.
Speaking of info, more and more data making clear who's paying the tariffs so far. Plus, Americans don't move anymore and the effect that's having on the economy. All that in the news of the day on the next Armstrong and Getty show. Join us.
Weekdays noon to 2 on News Talk 96.1 and AM 1180 KERN.
We survived the first day of school and almost made it through day 2. Maybe you're like me and my daughter. We like to go and celebrate the first day of school. We had dinner last night. What did we pick? KC Steakhouse, of course. She loves the steak bites. Now, that's great for me and her, but what happens at the end of the week when I want to celebrate surviving the first week of school and let's say I want to do it kind of an adult way? That's when I head over to the Stockyard. Yeah, that's right. 2525 F Street, a little speakeasy right next door to KC Steakhouse from the people that brought you KC Steakhouse. Head right next door. Now, there's no sign outside, but you'll see the carpet and the ropes. Ring the bell when they ask the password. Tell them, why not JR? You're going to walk into one of the nicest atmospheres in all of Bakersfield. Have a seat at the bar or maybe in one of the nice chairs. Order a drink from Haley and enjoy the environment. The other great thing about the Stockyard, they have a banquet room. Let's say you're not just celebrating the end of the first week of school, but you have a party or some other event. They can host that for you too. It's all happening right there at the little speakeasy, the Stockyard, 2525 F Street. Open Thursday, Friday, and Saturday, 6 to midnight.
My brother-in-law died suddenly, and now my sister and her kids have to sell their home. That's why I told my husband we could not put off getting life insurance any longer.
Welcome back. It's the JR Show. 661-842-5376, 661-842-KERN. Let's clear the text messages before we got to get out of here and make room for the Ralph Bailey Show. It is a Friday. Rick Bentley, entertainment reporter for KGET, will stop in, talk a little bit of entertainment, movies, TV, streaming, all you need to know on what to watch and what to look for. What you got on the text messages, sir?
JR, in honor of Donald Trump, the Washington Commanders' new name will be the Washington Orange Man.
Oh, okay. Sure, why not? I still call them the Redskins, and you can be mad at me for that. I really don't care. I do. Commanders be darned. It's the Redskins. I was having a conversation, I believe, last night about this and inappropriate. I said I was gonna start a new segment on the show. And every week we would come up with different inappropriate sayings or games that we used to play as kids that would never be allowed today. And yeah, the person didn't think that would. She did. She was like, "It's probably funny, but it might go a little too far." And I'm like, "Nah, I don't care. I'm gonna do it." So coming soon, the most inappropriate things we used to play in the 80s and 90s. Because I realized today that when somebody says, yeah, that was 20 years ago, that doesn't mean 1995 anymore. Dawson, what year were you born?
1998.
Oh, look at you. That was the year I graduated. Goodness gracious. At least you were born in the 90s, you can say, right?
Barely a 90s kid.
Do people look at you weird when you tell them you were born in the 90s, like you're from some foreign planet?
Yeah, a little bit.
I just realized 20 years ago was 2005. Goodness gracious. I feel like an old man. What else you have on the text messages?
Ask to visit a prison in our current county. You'll see what these guys live. They live a life of luxury in there. The only penalty is they can't go home at night.
I mean, for some people, that's not a penalty. I'm sorry. That's just a little humor on the Friday. Got to find ways to laugh so I don't cry. No, I know. They do. They get it nice and cush in jail. Two hots in a cot. It's more than what some people have out on the streets. What else you have on the text messages?
This is referring to the girl. She's probably in PC, but there are still plenty of girls in there who don't play, they say.
They don't play. You got to say it like that. No, they don't play. They don't play in PC either. They don't play. They don't mess around. Dawson can teach us new slang too. Are you cool? Are you up on the new slang?
I don't think I'm that in touch. I'll be honest.
You're not that hip. You're not that cool. I learned about girl math the other day. You know what girl math is, Dawson?
I'm familiar with girl math. It makes no sense to me, but I'm familiar.
I figured out the equations, but you're right. It doesn't make sense. It makes sense, but it doesn't make sense. If you don't know what girl math is, just ask either guys. If you don't know, because all the girls know what I'm talking about. But guys, if you don't know what girl math is, go ask your wife or your teenage daughter. They'll explain to you what girl math is. And then you'll sit there and go, yeah, 20 years ago was 2005. What else you got on the text messages in there, sir?
That's about it.
That's all we got. Let me see if I got anything in the old YouTube chat. JR, it's coming tomorrow. I just checked. What's coming tomorrow? Oh, somebody, I guess, sent me a package. It can't come till on Saturday. We'll probably get it on Monday. Oh, goodness gracious. You guys, it's been a fun week. Yeah, we've had Councilman Zach Pashertash. I'm not going to be able to get to the audio as we're running up against the clock here. But if you have a chance, go over to our YouTube page. You can listen to the interview from yesterday that we did with Councilman Zach Pashertash in regards to the $300,000 grant that's now been approved to go to the Dolores Huerta Foundation. I've also put some clips that I've spliced together from that meeting of the back and forth that I was going to play here on the show. But if you go to our social media pages, either on Facebook or Instagram, just look up Kern Radio or Why Not JR Flores. They're posted on both of those. You can watch the clip, or like I said, go back and watch not only yesterday's interview, but all kinds of past interviews and shows that we've done for the last month and a half. Go check them out if you got nothing else to watch over the weekend. You can binge on the JR Show. Meanwhile, you guys have a good weekend. There's a DOI checkpoint out there. How about just don't drink and drive? Makes sense to me. Although I'm kind of feeling a cocktail at the stockyard. Maybe somebody, maybe. We'll see. Got to get out of here and make room for the Ralph Bailey Show. You guys be good to each other. If you can't find somebody that's good, be that good person. Lily, Dad loves you.
This is AM 1180 KERN Green Acres. This is 96.1 FM Bakersfield. Online at KERNradio.com.
Breaking news this hour from Town Hall. I'm Keith Peters in Washington. President Trump and Russia's Vladimir Putin have started their Alaska summit with a warm handshake on Friday. President Trump says he's seeking a ceasefire in the Russia-Ukraine war.
During an interview aboard Air Force One as he flew to Alaska, the president told Fox News that he'd like to walk away from the meeting with a ceasefire. He said he wouldn't be thrilled if he didn't get it. The president also said he'd like a second meeting on Russia's war in Ukraine.
White House